Okay, so you've been watering your garden every single day. You bought the best soil from the store. You even talk to your plants like everyone says you should, but they're still dying. They're turning yellow. They're not growing, and you're standing there like, what am I doing wrong? Here's the truth. There's one massive reason your garden isn't growing, and I bet nobody's told you about it. And once you know what it is, everything's gonna click. Your tomatoes are gonna explode. Your flowers are gonna bloom like crazy. Everything changes. And no, it's not about watering more. It's not about fancy fertilizers. It's not about some secret technique that costs a ton of money. It's way simpler than that, but everyone misses it. Like, literally, everyone. I'm gonna break this down for you in the next 5 minutes, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what's killing your garden and how to fix it today, right now. Not next season, not next month. Today. Let's go. So first, let me tell you what happened to me last year. I planted this entire vegetable garden. I'm talking cucumbers, peppers, zucchini, tomatoes, green beans, the whole deal. I went all out. I watched probably 50 YouTube videos. I read articles. I asked people at the garden center what to do. I did everything right. At least I thought I did. I watered them every single morning before work. Sometimes, I'd even water them again in the evening if it looked dry. I used this expensive organic soil that cost me like $40 a bag. I bought the good stuff, not the cheap dirt. I even set up a little drip irrigation system because I wanted to be fancy about it. I wanted to be a real gardener, you know? I planted everything according to the instructions on the seed packets. I spaced everything out perfectly. I used stakes for the tomatoes. I had these cute little plant markers so I knew what was what. It looked amazing. I took pictures and sent them to my friends being all proud. 2 weeks go by. Nothing's happening. Like nothing. The plants look sad. They're just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. The leaves are small. Some of them are turning this weird pale green color that doesn't look healthy at all. A few of the plants are starting to look droopy, even though I just watered them that morning. I'm freaking out because I spent like $200 on all this stuff. Seeds, soil, plants from the nursery, all the tools, the irrigation setup, and it looks like everything's about to die. I'm watching my money just shrivel up in the dirt. I started Googling everything. Is it a disease? Are there bugs I can't see? Some kind of underground pest eating the roots? Do I need to water less? Water more? Is the soil pH wrong? Do I need to add nutrients? Should I buy fertilizer? I was going down this massive rabbit hole and getting more confused by the minute. Every article said something different. One said I was overwatering. Another said I was underwatering. One said it was nitrogen deficiency. Another said it was too much nitrogen. I didn't know what to believe anymore. I asked my neighbor who's been gardening for like 30 years. This guy grows the most incredible tomatoes every year. His garden looks like something out of a magazine. I figured if anyone would know, it's him. You know what he did? He walked over to my yard, looked at my garden for literally 10 seconds, didn't even bend down to touch the soil or anything, and told me exactly what was wrong. And when he said it, I felt so stupid, because it was so obvious. But nobody talks about this when they're teaching you how to garden. Alright, here it is. The number one reason your garden's not growing. Ready? It's sunlight. But not just any sunlight issue, it's that you planted your garden in the wrong spot. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, but my garden gets sun. I see the sun on it. There's literally sunshine hitting my plants right now. Yeah, but here's what most people don't understand. Most vegetables need 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight. Not filtered sunlight through trees. Not sunlight that hits it in the morning and then it's shaded by your house in the afternoon. Not dappled light coming through a fence. Direct, full-on, nothing blocking its sunlight. 6 to 8 hours minimum every single day. And here's the thing. When you're picking where to put your garden, you probably just looked outside one time, saw a spot that seemed sunny, and put your garden there. Maybe you looked out your kitchen window one morning, saw some sun hitting the corner of your yard, and thought, perfect, that's where the garden goes. That's exactly what I did. But the sun moves, right? Like obviously the sun moves across the sky throughout the day. What's sunny at 8 in the morning might be completely shaded by 2 in the afternoon. What gets sun in June when the sun's high might be totally shaded in April when the sun's lower in the sky. The angle changes. The shadows change. Everything changes. I did this exact thing. I put my garden on the side of my house that got morning sun. Beautiful morning sun. Gorgeous golden light. I'd look out there at 7 in the morning with my coffee and think, perfect, this is great. Look at that sunshine. My plants are gonna love this. I felt like I really knew what I was doing. But by noon, guess what? My house was blocking all the sun. the entire garden was in shadow. Those plants were getting maybe 3, maybe 4 hours of actual direct sunlight. And then I wondered why nothing was growing. I wondered why my neighbor's tomatoes were twice the size of mine. I thought maybe he had some secret fertilizer or something. Most vegetables are what we call full sun plants. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, squash, beans, zucchini, all the stuff people want to grow. They need that 6 to 8 hours. Some even need more. Tomatoes especially love sun. They want as much as they can get. If they're not getting it, they're gonna struggle. Period. They might not die completely. They'll hang on. They'll look alive. But they're gonna be weak. Pathetic, honestly. The fruits are gonna be small, if you get any fruits at all. A lot of times the plant will just grow leaves and never actually produce anything. The leaves are gonna be pale, that weird yellow-green color instead of deep dark green. Growth is gonna be super slow. You'll wait weeks for changes that should happen in days. And the crazy part is, you can do everything else perfectly. You can have the most amazing soil in the world, compost, nutrients, perfect drainage, everything. You can water at the perfect time with the perfect amount. You can fertilize like a pro with the best organic fertilizers money can buy. But if your plants aren't getting enough sun, none of that matters. None of it. It's like trying to run a car without gas. Doesn't matter how nice the car is. Doesn't matter if it's a Ferrari. No gas means it's not going anywhere. Plants use sunlight to make food through photosynthesis. You probably learned this in middle school science, and forgot about it the second you took the test. But that's literally how they eat. Sunlight plus water plus carbon dioxide equals food for the plant. It's their energy source. No sun equals no food, equals no energy, equals no growth. It's that simple, it's basic plant biology. So, what do you do about it? How do you fix this? First thing, you need to track the sun in your yard. And I mean really track it. Don't just look outside once and make a decision. Don't just assume that because a spot looks sunny right now, it's sunny all day. You need actual data. You need to know for sure. Here's what you do. Pick a day when you're gonna be home most of the day. A weekend day works perfect. Set a timer on your phone for every hour starting at sunrise. Like if the sun comes up at 6:30, set your first alarm for 6:30, then 7:30, then 8:30, all the way until sunset. Every time that timer goes off, go outside and look at your potential garden spots. Which areas have sun right now? Which areas are shaded? Take notes. Seriously, write it down. Take pictures on your phone so you can look back at them later. You think you'll remember, but you won't. Trust me on this. Mark down the time and which spots are sunny. You can even draw a little map of your yard if that helps. Put an X on the sunny spots. Do this from like 6 or 7 in the morning until 7 or 8 at night. The whole day. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but this one day of tracking is gonna save you months of frustration and wasted money. Do this on a sunny day, obviously. If it's cloudy, you're not gonna get accurate information. And honestly, if you can do it on 2 different days, even better. Maybe do it once in spring and once in summer if you're really serious. Because sometimes trees or buildings might block sun differently depending on the angle and the season. The sun's path changes throughout the year. You're looking for the spots that have sun for 6 to 8 hours straight, not total throughout the day. Straight, uninterrupted, like the sun hits it at 10 in the morning and doesn't leave until 6 at night. That's your golden spot. That's where your garden needs to be. That's the magic location. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. What if I don't have a spot like that? What if my whole yard is shaded? What if I have a ton of trees? Or my yard is small? Or I live in an apartment? Okay, you've got options. Don't give up yet. Option 1, container gardens. You can put plants in pots and move them around. This is actually genius if you don't have a perfect spot. Put them wherever the sun is throughout the day. If your driveway gets full sun, put containers there. Who cares if it looks weird? If you've got a sunny spot on your deck or patio, use that. If one side of your house gets morning sun and the other side gets afternoon sun, you can literally move the containers. Containers are mobile. They're portable. Use that to your advantage. Option 2. Grow shade-tolerant plants. Not everything needs full sun. This is important. Lettuce, spinach, kale, arugula, most herbs actually do okay with less sun. They can handle like 4 to 6 hours. Some leafy greens even prefer a little shade because it keeps them from getting too hot and bitter. So if you only have partial sun areas, focus on these plants. You can still have an awesome garden. Option 3. Cut back trees or bushes that are creating shade. I know this sounds extreme. I know you like your trees. But if you've got a tree branch that's blocking sun for half the day, trim it back. Prune it. You don't have to cut down the whole tree, just remove the branches that are causing problems. Your garden will thank you. Your plants will literally grow better. Option 4. Reflective surfaces. This is kind of a hack, kind of a trick. You can put white painted boards or aluminum foil or reflective material on the shaded side of your garden. It bounces extra light onto your plants. Does it replace direct sunlight? No, but it helps. It can add maybe an extra hour's worth of light intensity. Some people use mirrors or reflective mulch. Anything that bounces light back. The main thing is, don't fight the sun. Work with it. If you try to grow tomatoes in a shady spot, you're gonna have a bad time. I don't care what you do. I don't care how much fertilizer you use or how fancy your soil is. Just accept it and either move your garden or change what you're growing. Stop trying to force plants to grow where they don't want to grow. Now, once you've got your sun situation figured out, there's a few other things you should know to make sure your garden actually thrives. Because getting the sunlight right is the biggest thing, but there's some other stuff that's gonna help you take it to the next level. First, pay attention to the season and the angle of the sun. The sun's higher in the sky in summer and lower in winter. This matters more than you think. A spot that's perfect in June might be totally shaded in April or September because the sun's at a different angle. So when you're planning, think about when you're actually going to be growing stuff. If you're planting in early spring, track the sun in spring, not in the middle of summer. The shadows are going to be totally different. Second thing, buildings and trees don't just block sun, they also can create weird wind tunnels and temperature zones. A spot right next to your house might be warmer because the house radiates heat, especially if it's a south-facing wall. That can actually be good for heat-loving plants like peppers and tomatoes. But it can also dry out your soil faster, so you might need to water more. A spot near a fence might be cooler and more protected from wind. Pay attention to this stuff because it matters. It affects how your plants grow. Third, once your garden's growing, watch your plants. They'll tell you if they're not getting enough light. Plants communicate. You just gotta know what to look for. If your plants are getting leggy, that means they're stretching toward the light because they're not getting enough. The stems get long and thin and weak. That's a classic sign of not enough sun. If the leaves are pale or yellow and you know it's not a watering issue and you know it's not a nutrient problem, it's probably not enough sun. If your plants are growing slow and you're doing everything else right, watering correctly, good soil, proper spacing, sun's probably the issue. Also, here's something nobody tells you. Different parts of the same plant need different amounts of light. The leaves need light for photosynthesis, obviously. But the fruits, like your tomatoes and peppers, they need direct sun too. That's what makes them ripen and develop flavor. So even if your plant is growing okay, if the fruits are shaded by leaves or other plants, they're not gonna ripen properly. Sometimes you gotta prune back leaves to let light get to the fruit. Look, I'm gonna be real with you. Gardening isn't actually that complicated. People make it seem like you need a degree in botany or something. You don't. But you gotta get the basics right. And sunlight is the most basic thing there is. It's literally the foundation of everything. It's free. It's available every single day. You just gotta put your garden where the sun is. That's it. After I moved my garden to the right spot, the one that actually got 8 hours of sun, everything changed overnight. Within 2 weeks I saw more growth than I'd seen in the entire month before. My tomatoes went crazy. They shot up like a foot in height. I had so many cucumbers, I was giving them away to neighbors, to co-workers, to anyone who would take them. My peppers were huge and actually turning red instead of staying green forever. It was like night and day, like I unlocked some cheat code. So here's what I want you to do today. Right after you finish watching this video, go outside. Don't wait. Look at where your garden is or where you're planning to put it. Ask yourself honestly, does this spot really get 6 to 8 hours of direct sun? If you're not sure, track it like I told you. One day. Every hour. You'll know for sure. And if your garden's in the wrong spot, move it. I know it's a pain. I know you already set everything up. I know you already planted stuff and moving it feels like starting over. But trust me, it's worth it. A garden in the right spot with mediocre soil is gonna beat a garden with amazing soil in the wrong spot every single time. Every time. If this helped you, do me a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more gardening tips that actually work, not the stuff everyone repeats that doesn't help. Real tips. And drop a comment telling me where you're gonna put your garden. I read every single comment and I'll help you out if you've got questions. Seriously, ask me anything. Stop fighting your garden. Work with the sun. That's it. That's the secret. Now go make your garden amazing.